This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, August 26th, 2020. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. The Anne Arundel County Fire Department is searching for a man who went overboard after a collision between two boats yesterday afternoon near Turkey Point in the South River. It all happened at about 12:30. Two boats near buoy number 5 on the South River collided. Two occupants of the striking boat were uninjured. However, one occupant of the struck boat went overboard and did not resurface. The other occupant of that boat suffered minor injuries and was transported to a local hospital. Crews did search through the afternoon and the evening, and they will resume their search today. The missing boater is described as a 65-year-old man. The Anne Arundel County Police are investigating a midday stabbing on Monday. It happened on August 24th at about 12:25 in the 400 block of Old Stage Road. They were dispatched for a fight in progress involving a knife. When they arrived, they found an adult male with a stab wound to his chest. He was treated at the scene and transported to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Witnesses say that there was a large crowd in front of the building and a fight broke out between a male and a female. However, witnesses did not see a knife. Detectives are investigating this, and they're trying to gather additional information. So if anybody knows anything or has any information, please give them a call at 410-222-6145. Anne Arundel County State's Attorney Ann Colt-Litis has announced that Circuit Court Judge Mark Crooks has sentenced Tasha Johnson of Glen Burnie to 14 years in prison for one count of negligent manslaughter in the death of a 19-year-old Tyrese Glenn for driving while intoxicated and endangering the lives of two other teenagers, including her own child. Crooks did say that this is one of the most reprehensible cases and sentenced Johnson to the maximum sentence allowed for the crime. This all goes back to June of 2018, where the Maryland State Police responded to an accident at I-97 just before the General's Highway exit. They found a Mercury Grand Marquis overturned on its roof in a heavily wooded area. Witnesses say the vehicle had been being operated in an erratic fashion on 97, speeding, making improper lane changes. Johnson lost control of the vehicle, drove off the roadway, flipped multiple times before landing on the roof. When police arrived, they did find an open container of an alcoholic beverage, Mad Dog 2020, in her leather handbag. At the hospital, she did blow a .24, which is 3 times the legal limit here in Maryland. And this is really reprehensible, but at sentencing, the court was presented with a recording of the defendant stating that the brother of Tyrese Glenn needed to grow up and get over it because it was nobody's fault that the accident occurred. I think Judge Crooks got this one right. Yesterday afternoon, Governor Hogan announced that Lidl, the grocery store, is bringing 10 new stores and 400 jobs to Maryland by the end of 2021. In a statement, Governor said, "It is exciting news that a fast-growing global company like Lidl is continuing to invest and offer good-paying job opportunities at a time when they are needed the most. This is more good news for our economic recovery and will help more Marylanders get back to work." Currently, there are 3 stores planned for Anne Arundel County, one here in Annapolis on Solomon's Island Road in the former Shoppers location, Brooklyn Park on Ritchie Highway, and Glen Burnie, also on Ritchie Highway. Now, Lidl has also said they are going to be building a second location in Annapolis on Bay Ridge Road, sort of across the street from the existing Giant. I did check the status of that project is still hung up in the permitting phase, and I did touch base with the owner of the property, and he said it is still going forward. So it looks like we will have some additional choices when it comes to grocery shopping in the near future. All right, this past weekend, I did have the chance to join the crew of the Skipjack Wilma Lee for a sunset sail, and it was fantastic. The Wilma Lee, if you don't know, is on the National Register of Historic Places. She was constructed in 1940 on the Eastern Shore by Bronza Parks. She plied the Chesapeake Bay for 60 years, dredging for oysters. And back then, there were probably thousands of them on the Chesapeake Bay, and now there are less than 20 that remain afloat. If you really are looking for a unique experience, it's not quite as unique as the Thomas Point Lighthouse, but it is definitely unique. You want to get out on there. They are going to be doing public tours through the end of October. The Wilma Lee is 47 feet long, and with the COVID restrictions, that equals out to about 14 passengers or so. So it's a perfect quantity to get there. You can move around. You can see. It was a great time. They do offer Heritage Cruises, which is sort of a narrated cruise around Annapolis and everything else. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. They do Sunset Cruises, which I really like this. It didn't have a whole lot of narration. You got out there and you just got to see the beauty of the Chesapeake Bay in Annapolis. Those are offered on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday from 6:15 to 8:15. Wednesday from 5:30 to 7:30 is the Wednesday night races watch party. And they do also have private charters, so if you've got a wedding or a reception or something like that for a few people. And education cruises, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, schools, maybe there's a neighborhood field trip. I don't know. You can find out all that information at amaritime.org. It is owned and operated by the Annapolis Maritime Museum and Park. Highly recommended. And finally, change is good, right? Actually, I do embrace change, and I have to admit, doing this daily news brief every day for 3 years has become a bit monotonous. Our first episode was September 1st in 2017, and I dare not go back and listen to that one. But as we slide into our fourth year, it is time for some changes, and most of them are a result of your feedback. So thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for caring enough to be critical. It is honestly appreciated. So, what's new? First, we've changed the sound of the daily news brief. The intros, the wrap-ups, they'll all be a little bit different come September 1st. We have a few tricks that hopefully will make it a little bit easier to listen by defining the breaks between the stories a little bit better. DMV Weather, who has been with us from the start, is also undergoing a slight branding change, so people will stop confusing them with the Department of Motor Vehicles, and they are now going to become DCMDVA Weather to more accurately describe where George Young does forecast. The trick on that one will be that I need to remember that when I introduce him. Old habits do die hard. We have had Sing Second Sports join us for the past 2 weeks, and we are thrilled to have them become a permanent part of the Daily News Brief. Likely on Tuesdays, they'll bring some updates and a little teaser about their latest pod, but definitely subscribe to them because they have big plans, and if you are a sports fan, you will definitely want to be in the know with Sing Second Sports. And finally, and this is the biggie, I will be setting my alarms a little bit earlier starting on September 1st. For you early risers, the Daily News Brief will now be released at 6 a.m. So if you need a 10-minute local news update before making that long commute to the spare bedroom in your house, there you go. But honestly, thank you all for listening and supporting our sponsors. I have heard from them, and you are supporting them, so thank you. Thank you for reading eyeonannapolis.net, and thank you for passing the word about the Daily News Brief. I could not do it without you, and that's the honest truth. So there you go. Here's to the start of a great year number 4. And that does wrap it up for the news today. Please make sure you're checking out eyeonannapolis.net for updates to these stories and more. If you're someplace you can leave us a rating or a review, please do that as well. Other than that, hang tight. We've got George Young standing by with your local DMV weather forecast. He's coming up in just 1 minute, but here is Rick Peters from Solar Energy Services.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Wednesday, August 26th. Yesterday was a hot one with a few storms moving through the area, but it was not a sizable severe weather event that was a potential when the day started. And while today will be a bit cooler with highs 85 to 90, it will get hot again for a few days with temps in the 90s Thursday as heat index values climb to 100 and plus degrees with more 90s on Friday, followed by mid 80s to lower 90s on Saturday, though those temps could be tamped down a bit as the remnants of Hurricane Laura are expected to move close to, if not directly over, the DMV region of D.C., Maryland, and Virginia sometime in the Saturday p.m. and Sunday a.m. hours, bringing a bit of rain. but it'll likely be a very fast mover with less wind than the area's last tropical system earlier this summer, which we won't say the actual name of ever again. And from there, the region will see a very nice break from the heat, with temps Sunday expected to only be in the 80 to 85 degree range, followed by upper 70s to lower 80s on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Make it a great day out there. Stay healthy and be safe, and be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching DC MDVA Weather in the Apple or Google App Store, and also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and use our website each day at dmvweather.com so you can always stay weather informed.
Hi everybody, this is Brian Griffiths, the publisher of The Duck Pin. I've been podcasting for almost 10 years, and I'll be making my return to podcasting this September with the Duck Pin Podcast. We'll be talking about the things that matter in your life: news, politics, sports, culture. We'll be looking at those things from a state, local, and national level, and we'll be talking to the people who are making those things happen. Subscribe now by visiting anchor.fm/theduckpin, or search for The Duck Pin, DUCKPIN, in your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at The Duck Pin. Subscribe today so you don't miss a single episode of The Duck Pin Podcast coming this September. To learn more about The Duck Pin, visit theduckpin.com.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.